Attention musicians of all levels. It's not always easy picking out a song by ear. Sometimes you need a little help. Well, I have the app for you. Whether you're a professional musician or a beginner, Ultimate Guitar is an amazing app. For just $2.99, you get the chords and tabs on guitar, bass, or ukulele for over 1 million songs. They're all available at your fingertips. You also get tools like a tuner, metronome, chord library, lessons, videos, and more. You can find out any song you want. It also has like transpose button. It has auto scroll that you can change the speed to so you can play along with the song. A lot of the songs have the lyrics there so you can sing along with them. Ultimate Guitar is an amazing app. Just go to ultimateguitar.com or download the app to your phone today and start playing. Start playing any song you want. Ultimate Guitar, that's the place for you. Let's get down.
And you may ask yourself, well, how did I get here?
It's time for How Did I Get Here? And now here is your host,
All right. Hello, I'm Johnny. I'm your host. Welcome to the show. I hope you guys have all had a good week, whatever it is you did this week. I'm actually recording this intro early in the week because I got a crazy week, got a lot of stuff going on, traveling out of town and going to hang out with family and stuff. So I wanted to make sure that this got done and put up because as you'll hear later on, this has been an arduous process getting this episode together. Crazy stuff has gone on. First, gang, let me remind you that Skyrocket, the band, will be playing this Friday, August 26th in Houston at Last Concert Cafe. It's an early show, 8 p.m. Last show there that we played back in, I think, May or beginning of June was fucking crazy. It was really, really fun. It was totally insane. And hopefully that energy will be brought back and we will have a crazy, sweaty night. I love those nights. I love those nights. Go to skyrockettheband.com, get some tickets there, or lastconcertcafe.com. Get involved there. Saturday night, August 27th, Skyrocket will be playing at 310 Austin City Limits Live here in Austin, playing in downtown Austin. We have not played a show in downtown Austin since last August. So I'm very, very excited. If there's tickets left for that show, get them. Come on out. It's a great time. You know, we do a visual display during our show. Usually it's projected, but at 310 Austin City Limits Live, they have a giant screen, and so those visuals look fucking great. So go to skyrockettheband.com, get some tickets, get out there, see the show. It's going to be a good time. Promise you a good weekend. All right. Gang, I have a great show for you today. I do. I have a great show for you today. Dorota Zuda, Stealth Ulvang, and Ryan Dubrowski, who make up the band Heavy Gus, are my guests on the show today. Now, their brand new album, Notions, is out now wherever it is you stream and download your music. They are on BMG Records. You can find them at heavygus.com. The record is absolutely fantastic. It is what one would think of as a classic indie rock album. In their description, it's like from the Meat Puppets to the Breeders to Yo La Tengo, which makes total sense. But there's also a band that they reminded me of that I forgot to talk to about them during this interview is Camera Obscura, who had a song called French Navy. I can't remember the name of the record, but I remember French Navy real well because I love that song. Anyway, I love this band, and I actually talked to them a few weeks ago, like 3 weeks ago, right the same day that I tested positive for COVID. I spoke to them right before my test, and I spoke to them over Zoom, and I think that Dorota and Stealth were in Sacramento, and Ryan at that point was maybe in Denver. I'm not quite sure. Stealth plays with the Lumineers, and Ryan's wife plays with the Lumineers as well. So anyway, they formed this band, Heavy Gus, and we had this conversation a few weeks ago. Whenever I got the coronavirus, but when I went to go put it out last week, I noticed that there was a whole part of their conversation missing. This has never happened before. I've lost a couple of episodes, maybe 4 episodes in the almost 1,200 that I put out. But this one was a terrible, terrible situation because all of a sudden I had lost my Bluetooth and I thought it had re-engaged and I could hear them in my headphones. So I thought they were recording, but they were not. So there was a few minutes of us talking and it was great. And then it was just me talking for the rest of the time, which was horrible. So I reached out to their publicist and I said, hey man, I can do something with what I have, like a small little thing, kind of, because they talked a little bit about the record. But if they want to do it again, I would be more than happy to. And they were super cool and said they would do it again. And the weird thing is that the Lumineers were in town just this past Saturday. And I guess if I would have been in town, I was in Houston playing in Richmond, Texas. I would have been able to do it in person, maybe, or at least just with Stealth. But anyway, Ryan and Stealth were in Orlando, Florida. Dorota was, I believe, back home where they live in Bishop, California, in the high desert. Anyway, they're getting ready to get out and play some shows on the East Coast in September in Brooklyn and Philly and a lot of other places. Then they're going to do a tour, I believe, in October and November with the great Shaky Graves. And anyway, I want to thank them for doing the show again. Their record is fantastic. They're a great band. They're super creative, and they were really, really fun to talk to. I will say that Stealth kind of worked as an agent of chaos, and it is kind of hard to have the same conversation you had before, so I tried to cover different stuff. So we just kind of talked. And Stealth is hilarious. You will laugh a lot at what he has to say. And anyway, they're fantastic people. I had a great time talking to them for a second time. I want to thank them for doing it a second time. Go check out their record, Notions. Absolutely fantastic. Go to heavydustgust.com and see if they're coming to a town near you, and go out there and see them. Maybe I'll get to meet them someday when they play in Austin. But for now, this is me talking to Dorota, Stealth, and Ryan from Heavy Gus over Zoom for the second time. Let's get down. I have to apologize and thank you at the same time for being so cool to do this again. I don't know what happened. That certain thing that happened to our conversation has never happened before.
What happened? I also don't know what happened.
What happened was I got knocked off of Bluetooth for a second. And then I put it back on and it connected, and I could hear you through my headphones through the machine, but it was not recording your side of the conversation, just mine for the rest of it.
It's probably for the best because Stealth said all that weird racist stuff in the middle.
Okay, so, hey, Stealth, you guys were just here in Austin.
Yeah.
I was out of town. But
oh shit!
Yeah, I saw you guys were. I just saw it like on the day. Was it like Saturday or Friday or something?
2 days ago, yeah.
Yeah. Where are you guys now?
Orlando.
Ooh.
You guys look like you're in Orlando. You're both wet. Open.
It's our frozen marks.
That's unbelievable.
It's gonna be a real. It's okay. It's gonna be a real different interview because I came tipsy.
Oh, good. Well, you had a lot of energy last time, so I'm glad you came tipsy. Dorota, where are you? Outside of leaving
Hi.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get out of here, Alice.
Uh-oh. I like our color coordination that we didn't know existed.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
We got
Yeah, where are you?
I'm at home.
Okay.
In Bishop, California. I just let my dog out of the room. I'm sitting in our bed.
Nice. All
Great.
right. So your record, Notions, is out now on BMG Records, and you guys are about to head out in a couple weeks on September 6th, doing some East Coast touring, starting out in Brooklyn. It's going to be the three of you guys, right?
Yes. Sure.
Will you once again tell me how you do this live so the people know? How does it...
Yeah.
Right. Okay, go ahead.
When we perform live, I play bass.
Right.
And Stealth plays guitar. And Ryan plays drums. I sing. And Stealth sings a little bit too. And yeah, it's just a real simple three-piece. The record has more layers of things, but for live, we keep it simple.
Yeah. And so for those that don't know, Ryan, are you playing with the Lumineers or are you just in Orlando?
I am not. No, my wife. I think last time we talked, I was not married, but I now am married.
Congratulations,
to Lumineers.
That's
and I
right.
just thank you very much. I just flew out yesterday to see her.
Nice.
And Steph, but mostly Lauren.
No, last time we talked, you were married.
Were we?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so. I remember you saying your wife, because she's played with Heavy Gus, right?
Yeah, she played our first streaming show, and then she said that's enough.
Right.
And
She played one half show.
We said, "Do you want to play again?" She said, "No, thank you."
yeah, which is fair because she's playing a lot of shows this year with the Lumineers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can't imagine.
Well, what? Yeah.
But the other thing is,
Yes.
okay, yeah. So then, sure, I play with the Lumineers still, but I have endless bounds of energy, and I think this straw is made of pasta.
Is that one of those like
Is that
disintegrating straws?
Is that
Yeah.
possible?
Good, that's a good one.
Do you know why sea turtles love plastic straws so much,
No.
Johnny?
No, I don't.
It's because they don't want to mess up their lipstick.
That's a dumb joke.
That's
Why?
a terrible joke, man. I mean, what's funny is that you said it. That's you know what I mean? That's where the magic is.
Sure.
In that.
Sure. Okay. So, point is,
In a past life, I was a marine scientist, and one time Stealth came to a marine science party trying to tell really bad jokes. And I just remember sitting around a bonfire and him being like,
I remember going, why do sharks only swim in salt water? And this woman
and
goes,
Melissa, shark biologist, was like, they absolutely don't. There are plenty of species of freshwater sharks. And Stealth was like, okay, this party is not for me.
okay, but do you know why sharks only swim in salt water?
No.
Because if they swam in pepper water, they'd sneeze all the time.
Oh my god.
What is wrong with you? That's like a terrible dad joke. It's a
Yeah,
good
I'm
thing.
working on it.
Yeah, you're doing good. All right, so go ahead.
No, I forgot that I wasn't doing the interview.
No. Listen, Stealth, I appreciate your takeover, and I will let you take over this time because I feel like I'm just asking the same shit over and over. So this time, you guys...
We got to for this to be good, we have to we said such good shit last time.
I know.
It was really good. It was one of the best.
I tried to remember it. It's one of the best interviews I've ever done.
Yeah, it was
You
great.
also said all that weird stuff about how
No.
Yep, that's what I was gonna not do this time, not go into that question. However, let me ask you this question, Dorada. Do you still do marine science practice?
a couple years ago, I transitioned from marine science to freshwater science.
Yeah.
I still dip a toe in the marine stuff here and there. The proverbial ocean.
Yes.
Mostly I do freshwater. Yeah.
When you do that, are you traveling to like locations?
For freshwater stuff, I live in Bishop and I do freshwater science here.
Okay.
For marine stuff, really the only marine ties I have at this point is an involvement in a project studying sea turtles in the Sea of Cortez.
Okay.
So theoretically I would travel, but for the last 2 field seasons, it was COVID. And then I was 9 months pregnant.
Yeah.
And it's like not recommended to scuba dive when you're 9 months pregnant.
Uh-huh. Yeah. It's probably not
I
a
don't know who
good.
comes up with these rules.
What's that?
I don't know who comes up with these rules.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're kind of arbitrary.
I don't know if they make maternity wetsuits.
I had this dream, though, that if you were scuba diving and you birthed Casper, he would be Kevin Costner in the movie Waterworld, where he would be born with gills, just like the baby on the Nirvana cover.
Oh. That
and
guy.
if I gave birth in the ocean, he would just, like, as long as he's still connected to the umbilical cord, he'd essentially be like a mermaid, you know?
Right.
He'll
Because
be the world's first mermaid.
you don't need to really, like, come up for air.
It's straight out of the scientist's mouth, everybody.
Unbelievable.
It's birth a baby while you're scuba diving. It's fine.
You heard it here first. If you give birth underwater in the ocean, your child will be a mermaid.
Do any of you guys believe in that like hot tub baby birth thing, whatever it's called, water birth?
Water birth? Sure, I believe in it. I've seen some really cool videos of water births. I have a friend that's a doula, and she posts water births all the time, and they're always like fascinating and a little shocking.
I probably would have done it if it was an option for me because I love taking baths.
Really?
But alas, not an option for me.
Well,
Oh.
But I had just a fine time.
Did you have a doula?
No regrets. I did. Her name was Marlene. One thing she did that was unexpected was take some real hardcore footage as it was happening, and I'm so glad she did because it's pretty cool.
Really?
Yeah, I make people watch it sometimes.
Oh my God.
We're going to send you the footage along with Dorota's old folk band. We're going to have so many inside jokes from that last interview.
Stealth, do you? Have you ever done stand-up or no? Are you
No.
you're just funny?
Don't encourage him. Don't encourage him.
yeah.
Well, you know, I mean, it's a different thing because a guy can be funny in this setting, and then when you try to do a thing when it's just you and a microphone, it's like it's a whole different animal. But you're funny.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Ryan, what's going on with you? Will you talk to me about tell the guys how you got in the band?
I like that question. What's going on with you? What is going on with me? Yeah, I'm out here in Orlando. I just recorded some demos with Blind Pilot. I've got that other band, Blind Pilot.
Yeah.
And yeah, we just recorded some demos for our next album. But that's all done, and now I'm switching back into sort of like heavy Gus world.
Yeah.
I'm getting ready for these shows. I did just far too much traveling around this summer, but it was all for fun stuff.
Yeah.
I just saw Dorota a couple days ago, and we played some tunes, and the tunes are still really good.
We had a sectional. You might
Yeah, a sectional.
Nice.
So
Wait, you guys were sexual together?
Yeah.
I didn't know you guys had a sexual relationship.
It was super sexual.
Oh, that's so dumb.
It's just the frozen Marg talking.
Can you guys hear
We're just really sexual.
not to do the pun on your song, but do you guys hear the distant thunder?
No.
There's crazy-
You just don't-
There's crazy like emergency flash flood warnings coming and everything.
Oh,
I was
wow.
about to be like, we're not in Texas, and then I remembered about the microphone. No, we don't hear it.
Right. Just wondering if you could hear it. So Ryan, will you talk about how you joined forces and how you joined the band?
Yes, of course. Let's see. How did I joined the band? So I feel like
We're all in Nashville.
we were all, well, that's
You're jumping to the middle of the story, Stel.
yeah,
No, we were all in Nashville the first time.
No, that's not the beginning.
This is the beginning of the Barclays Center after party in New York City.
That's
Look,
the
I hate to interject, but I'm pretty sure he asked me how I joined the band. And so they asked me to
Ryan takes
just
control.
record some songs. They asked me to just record some songs in Nashville, and I, of course, said yes because I love them both, and they sent me some just like sort of scrappy recordings of some of the songs on the iPhone. And so this was kind of what was that, June, July of 2020?
I was going back to the
I'd
first
like to help you, but he asked you, so.
They were,
Sorry. I don't remember.
it was February. It was February of 2020.
Yeah, February of 2020.
Nothing could go wrong the whole year. We were high on life.
Yeah.
We were ready to just lay it all down and just see the year seamlessly through.
Yeah, but then we ended up in Nashville. Jumping forward, we'll just skip to that part.
Okay.
And we recorded these songs, and the recordings turned out, I think, better than we all expected. And then they asked me if I wanted to, have it be a band instead of, I think, just a recording project.
Right.
That's how it was for me.
That's one way it started.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you had a plan the whole time.
Well, do you remember that you and me would just be hanging out backstage at Lumineers shows, and we'd be like, remember playing music? Playing music is fun. We should start a band so that when we're all along on Lumineers stuff, we can play shows too.
That's true.
That was like a back of the mind conversation we had one time.
Yeah. So I guess that's another big part of it, is that there is this other sort of idea that Jarrod and I should play music together, because we were spending a lot of time together out on the road, and it just sounded like the right thing to do.
Right.
Should not have been so dependent on me.
You started off on violin, right, Dorota?
Playing music?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when did you make the move to bass?
Well, I played violin for a long time, and for a long time just played violin in bands that I played in, because that was my best instrument. And at the same time was like playing guitar casually on my own, and learning bass a bunch of years ago, but am the best at violin, so I was always doing that one. And then I kind of hit a point where I realized I don't really it's like, man, I'm playing violin in all these bands, and I just don't really like to listen to bands that have violin in it. And I don't really love violin music. I think I just overdid it. And so then I just started, maybe, I don't know, 6 years ago, putting more energy into instruments that I was not as good at, in hopes of getting better. Yeah. Which happened.
Can I ask you?
Turns out if you...
Sorry, can I ask you what does that look like when you're learning an instrument you don't know? What do you do? Are you looking up videos on YouTube, or like listening to records and figuring it out yourself, or?
It's a lot of when I was learning bass, Stealth would just play songs on guitar, and he'd be like, okay, 1, 4, 5, and I'd get that, and then as it just was, it's not a lot of taking lessons or YouTube watching. I'm kind of a stubborn learner, and I like to figure it out on my own. It's figuring out shapes and thinking about it. That same with guitar. I started playing guitar probably when I was in high school, junior high, just listening to, Dust in the Wind, and then trying to play Dust in the Wind. And then, just practicing shapes and stuff. It's a lot less intellectual than it is with violin. Violin, I know a lot of theory behind it. And I think guitar and bass is more fun, because I can kind of just do what sounds good.
Right.
Especially with guitar.
Right.
Bass is a little more straightforward.
Yeah. Are you a Kansas fan or just a Dust in the Wind fan?
Just a Dust in the Wind fan. That was just I was finger picking is cool.
Yeah. Yeah, you seem a little young for the whole, I'm not a Kansas guy, but I get Dust in the Wind.
Was it because of the movie with Will Ferrell where he plays Dustin the Wind at the funeral?
No, not at all.
No, I don't know.
No, it's because I'm 53.
Rhoda.
I'm 53, and
I meant more Dorota because of the era.
oh, sorry.
That,
No, I don't know what that movie is.
Go ahead.
It was just a song I'd heard around, and I thought, oh, finger picking's cool. I should learn how to. And Blackbird. I was like, finger picking.
Right.
I'll learn how to do that.
Yeah.
And now, fun fact is, whenever I play a finger picking guitar song, "Dust in the Wind" is like one of 3 finger picking patterns I do.
That's awesome.
Oh.
It's good to know. Yeah.
I'm going to listen to it this time.
Oh.
I learned it because of this movie, but I can't remember what it is.
Let me.
Not Anchor.
Did you? What instruments? Like, what instrument did you play first, Stealth?
I started learning saxophone. No, I wanted to learn saxophone because I thought Lisa Simpson and Bill Clinton were cool. And I went to the music teacher, and they said, no, we have too many saxophones. We need a clarinetist. And then eventually you'll understand saxophone. So I started learning clarinet.
Right.
And then when I was old enough and had an understanding of it, they let me switch to saxophone. I went through high school playing clarinet and saxophone and eventually flute. I played some jazz flute. I played flute in jazz band, not because of Anchorman though.
Right.
Part. And
jazz flute, can I ask you this? Like, what stuff were you playing in jazz? Like Take the A Train or like whatever that you got to learn in those situations? Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. Take the A Train. Yes. Just, and I was in the beginning jazz band with flute, and I was in the advanced jazz band with Barry sax, which is easier than any instrument in jazz band because all you do is go. That's all you do every now and then is you just like that. And then so I went from those instruments and I said, now I want to learn piano. And my music teacher said, you can't. You got to stick to the woodwinds if you want to be a professional because like this is what everybody's doing in jazz and stuff. And I didn't want to be a jazz musician ever.
Were you listening? Were you listening to jazz on your own?
Sometimes. It was just a class that I enjoyed, and I didn't enjoy any classes that weren't music at the time.
All right. What were you into musically?
So then I was getting really into all this piano rock. I was into Elton John. I was into Jerry Lee Lewis. I got into Ray Charles, and I even had this little keyboard that I was trying to learn What I Say on with like the phoniest electric piano sound.
What's What I Say?
It's a great Ray Charles track.
Oh.
You know that song?
And it goes. Tell your mama, tell your pa, and go back to Arkansas.
It's on Wurlitzer though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I had a Casio keyboard that I found a Wurlitzer sound on.
Nice.
And anyway, he was like, you can't learn piano. You got to put your efforts into the woodwinds. And I hated him. And so I would just spend so much time practicing in the music room because we had these pianos, and I was like taking up space because people wanted to come practice like real piano recital music. And I left high school being like, I never want to do music again. It's just filled with, take the A train for the rest of my fucking life.
Right.
And I quit music and I started living in punk houses and traveling. And I got really into hitchhiking and hopping trains. And
wait, what years? Hold on. What years was that?
2008, 2007, 2006 to 2008 before I was playing music.
Wow.
2 years. I graduated in 2004, so probably didn't play music at all for 2004. After that, 2005, went to a bunch of concerts, didn't play music at all. And in 2008, I had a punk house that I would book all these bands at. And so I met a bunch of musicians because I would book them in this like big, we had this huge ground floor. It was an old converted schoolhouse. So it was like this giant master room and with a big bell. And we would ring the bell every time a band was starting. And so I met all these bands in this way. And then my friends and I used to steal all the time. And we would go to thrift stores and we would rummage through the pockets of all the suits and we would look for money. Sometimes we'd find $5, $20, and you'd find weird things. One time I found a class ring that my mom took to the pawn shop and that she got $350 for.
Wow. Shit.
Recently, I don't know. But I found $600 in a suit pocket one time. It would have been 2005 or 6. I found $600, and I was like, guys, let's spend all this money and go to New York City. We lived in Colorado, and let's all hitchhike, and we'll just use this money that I found, because it was very much like in my mind. We had a very strong ethos about everything we stole became the people's at that time. And so I take my 4 friends, and we're just going nuts, spending money, and we only spend, we get to Chicago, we make it hitchhiking, hopping trains, we make it to Chicago, we almost get arrested, we end up at a giant bar mitzvah, and we eat this giant feast in Chicago in the Hilton on the lake, and anyway, we're there for a week, we only spend $300,
Whoa.
The 4 of us. And
your mom just stayed there last week. Did you know that?
At the Hilton?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I should have told her. We stole some boxing gloves off the wall there. Both lefties, though. So anyway, we come back from the trip, and I still have $300 left. And I'm like, guys, what should we do with the money? And everyone was real sweet. They're like, Stel, you love playing a piano when you see one, da-da-da. You should get an instrument. You should have an instrument. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to go on Craigslist, and I'm just going to get, like, my only search qualification will be a musical instrument that's $300. And I went on Craigslist, and we found a $300 accordion, and I didn't know how to play accordion. But because the money came in for free, we were just going to dump it. And then I was thinking, I'll start a band. It'll be good. So I bought this accordion, and that was the true powder keg, I think, to me starting to play music, because then you could travel and busk. And I would travel with it on my back like a backpack, and then you could go to a city. And I was bad at it. And people will still give you money if you learn the one song over and over. And you can sit there and you can practice.
Yeah.
And
I saw the other day that was incredible. I saw a guy busking with an accordion. And from far away, I was like, oh, he's pretty good. And then I got closer and I realized he was just playing a track of accordion music. And then just going, like not even playing it, like just making terrible sounds. But the track was blasting so loud that you couldn't tell unless you got really close. And I thought, that guy's a hustler.
Maybe not a hustler, maybe a performance artist. Maybe he was doing something on a different level that you weren't seeing it on.
Totally. Outside of the Trader Joe's in Reno, possibly.
Maybe it was his track.
Sorry, but I don't know if you know that sidewalk performance art is blowing up in Reno.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
I was wrong. I take it all back.
So accordion.
So I became an accordion player, just like that. And I traveled, and I would go to New Orleans. I moved to Seattle for a bit in 2007, and I brought this accordion along, and I would dress up like a pirate, and I would sit in the Pike Place Market, and I would play these 2 or 3 songs that I would write that sounded to me piratey. And sometimes I would grumble like Tom Waits, or it worked pretty well. People would give you money just to rehearse, and I got better that way. I would do it every day after working at this pizza place, and I would skateboard, deliver pizzas. And I would have this. Last time we talked, I didn't have an earring that made me look like a pirate.
Now you're in the
But
zone.
now I do have.
Yeah.
This is eerie, and I think I'm getting back to my pirate roots.
Yeah.
Can we say pirate? Is that?
I think that's okay.
Okay.
Hey, Ryan, let me ask you a question. Ryan, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, please.
I don't want to lose you, man. I wanted to know, what was the thing that made you like want to play drums? Like, what was and when was it in your life?
Well, to play drums, it was pretty early on. I felt like I knew that I wanted to play drums when I was maybe like 8 years old, and I was just drumming on everything to the point where my parents put me into lessons just to make me a little better.
Right.
Which is like, that's a very generous thing, I think, for parents to put their kids into any music lessons, but especially drums, because they're loud and they'll really cut through walls.
But another one,
that was
drums and violin and cello and like weird bowed instruments that have like a very questionable tuning when you're first starting. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, like,
my parents used to make me practice in the basement because I didn't want to hear it.
Ukulele is nice because the ukulele doesn't sound bad even when you like play the wrong notes. It's still like relatively pleasant. But
that's how I feel about accordion.
Yeah, it's just nice on the ears. So I feel like I knew that I wanted to play drums really early on, but it wasn't until like many, many years later when I think that like I knew that I was just going to be doing that kind of, for as long as I could, which is probably maybe on Blind Pilot's first bike tour down the West Coast. And it was sort of just the best time. Like, we had made a little 5-song EP on burned CDs that we were just selling wherever we could. And I packed up a little drum kit into a trailer, and we started in Vancouver, BC, and rode our bikes just down the West Coast until San Francisco, where we got our bikes stolen. But
with the gear?
No, our gear was luckily at our friend's house. We just had our bikes stolen.
That's so insane. Can you say the number of miles that is?
What is that? It's probably 1,600 miles.
Jesus
off the top of my head. I would have to we were doing maybe 60, 75 miles a day and trying to play a show every night.
Yeah.
There is something about that trip that made me feel like I didn't really want to do anything else in life other than play shows.
That's amazing, because it seems like that kind of tour would make someone not want to do that for the rest of their lives. You know what I mean? Riding their bike from Vancouver to San Francisco, 1,600 miles, getting there, having your bike stolen, carrying your drums in a tray. That just sounds like maybe I'm just old now, and it sounds horrible to me.
But there's something, I think, especially when you're young, of sort of like going through hard things with your friends, that is sort of the best.
Yeah.
It was hard, but it was the right type of hard.
Yeah.
Like, it was physically taxing and sometimes mentally taxing, but it was so much fun.
Do you remember what it was that made you want to get the drums? Was it a specific song or something you saw, or?
Burning Down the House by Talking Heads.
That's cool.
I would, on road trips with my parents, I would just make them play that like over and over again. Which, again, like, bless my parents, they would do that. I guess they liked the song too, but I couldn't get enough of that one when I was a kid.
That's amazing. You're lucky.
Yeah, that's a good first favorite song.
Yeah.
I still really like it.
Yeah, I love that song. Yeah.
It'd be fun.
We could make it a political number about the House of Representatives.
I guess. That sort of seems not as fun. That's kind of how I got into drums. And then both my parents were visual artists, and so I guess I sort of just had a different idea of, like what a job could be in life, or like that you didn't necessarily have to have a regular job. You could just do the thing that you like to do.
Right. Yeah. So you had the kind of parents that would be like impressed that you were going to ride your bike to San Francisco on tour. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they were all. They were all for it. They weren't like, why don't you go to, medical school or something like that.
Right. Hey, Dorado, what about you? What about your parents? Did they say stuff like, hey, why don't you stick with the science?
Yep.
Dorota's parents are wonderful.
No, my parents are really great. But I don't think the pursuit of the arts or music was like seen as a career possibility. Is it a career possibility? I'm still unclear about it.
Yeah, it's a career possibility.
I mean, it still is a career possibility, but it is a different. When I was sold on this thing, there was like, rock stars lived in castles and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, luckily I'm not trying to live in a castle.
Right.
My parents, they were not immediately encouraging of me playing music. When I first started playing violin, it was an option in school. You got to pick an instrument. And I was like, yeah, play violin? You're a kid. And then I did, because you can learn how to do anything when you're a kid. And then my mom, once I started like actually playing and it sounding okay, my mom felt really bad. And I think she still feels guilty about not being encouraging in the beginning. But,
what does she do? What do your parents do?
She do now? Well, we moved to America when I was a little kid.
From where?
From Poland.
Okay.
And so she's done all sorts of stuff. Now she takes care of elderly people in their home. She sort of does a lot of what's it called? Like basically personal assistant stuff for this hoarder lady.
She keeps tracks of the piles or something.
Yeah. She works hard. She's done a lot of stuff. She mostly helps people in homes at this point.
Right.
But she's done a lot of different stuff. She did a lot of like city hall bureaucratic insurance stuff. My dad, he's like a professional tinkerer. He can fix anything.
That's cool.
Yeah, they both work really hard. So I think always encouraged me to work hard, and music wasn't like. Really
Didn't seem like people work hard. It doesn't seem like people are working hard on the outside.
Yeah, and I think that there's not as much of a guaranteed payoff as there is, like, go to school for science and then go to grad school for science, and then you get this science job.
Right. What about you, Stealth? What kind of parents did you have when you were going out on the hitchhiking with your accordion? Were they like, "Hey, dude, what the fuck are you doing?" Or were they like, "All right"?
My mom was like, "Well, I've never been able to control you any other time. Why would I start now?"
So they were just kind of ambivalent.
She was a single mother for most of my childhood life, and so just keeping me alive and friendly was good enough for her.
She did a great job.
She did a good job, but she wasn't like, music is the thing. She got me into like modeling and acting when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm. Were you in anything that we would have seen?
Nope.
Okay.
Did you see that commercial? I
got called back 3 times to be young Forrest Gump, but that damn Haley Joel Osment got the part instead.
Really?
Yeah, I could have been the I See Dead People kid after that. But I like my life more than, well, I don't know his life. I like my life just fine now. So thanks, Mom.
Yeah.
Had I been any bit of better actor, then maybe I would have ended up acting my whole life.
Did you study it at all or anything? Did you go to like kid classes?
I did it through middle school and high school. I was really into it, and I wanted to go to college for it, and then I didn't.
Yeah. That happened.
But no, she's very supportive. She's very loving, and I never was probably like doing enough, and then I would do even less than that because her bar just kept dropping for me. And so by high school, by the time it came around and I had like at least 100 GPA, I was going to drop out of high school and didn't do that at least maybe. So my theater teacher convinced me not to drop out of high school.
What's that?
But you know what? The other day in Tulsa, 3 of my teachers came to the show. They took a vacation. You know my 3 like teacher friends, Dorota?
In Colorado, yeah.
They did a road trip down to Tulsa where they looked at all the historical passages of Native Americans in the West, which there's a lot of events and historical places in between Colorado and Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And so they only one's a history teacher. There's a Spanish teacher and a biologist and a drama teacher. They're kind of hanging their crew. And they usually do like field trips together where they just mostly drink wine and dine, but then go to like a historical museum. Anyway, they came and they said they were proud of me.
Aww.
Yeah, but they weren't in high school.
Yeah.
I was awful in high school.
I believe it.
Sometimes
I did not care about biology.
Yeah.
Everyone loves a good turnaround story.
everybody, yeah, especially those guys. And also they might have seen something in you. Like, oh, he just needs to, he needs to hitchhike it out of his system.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
True. I always liked, but I did always like them as teachers, and they liked me. But I was not like a good student. And I think you just as a teacher eventually go, well, this kid's not going to be a good student and make it in life, but that's fine because he's nice.
Sure. Well, I think you are going to make it in life. Hey, let me ask you a quick question about this East Coast trip you guys are doing. You're doing some of those with our Austin friend Shaky Graves, right?
We go in October. Yes, that's true.
Oh, in October. And where is that going to be?
We have a show in Bayfield, Wisconsin, under the Big Top in Chautauqua. Actually, it's Chautauqua Big Top, it's called.
Right.
It's up near Duluth. And then we also have one in Mobile, Alabama.
Nice. I read a thing about Duluth being one of the places that people that are interested in climate migration are going to migrate to.
No way.
Interesting.
That's what they're saying on something that I read. All right. So who are you doing this East Coast run with? You're just yourselves?
It's just ourselves, and then we're having different friends and future friends playing them with us.
Yeah. I think we're doing a show. Our New York show is with our friend Lost Leaders, who Byron, the bassist of the Lumineers, is playing in that band. So it's kind of cool to do both of our projects outside of this band and do them together elsewhere.
Awesome.
And then, Philadelphia, we're playing with our friend Sean Barna, and Woodstock, what is it? We're playing with the woman Diana DeMuth.
Londonderry, are we playing with Saints and Liars?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
So there's just like...
I had a band called Liars and Saints.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Funny.
Huh.
Interesting.
Thieving. It sounds like most of them are liars and not saints at all.
I wonder if they saw that and did, we'll do a switcheroo. Like maybe they also
Probably.
wanted to... Because I don't think Liars and Saints is that uncommon of a thing.
No.
Sounds like it. I mean, it sounds like a band.
I bet that's true.
Anyway, sorry, yeah.
I was excited to do this again, and then I was like, well, maybe we won't go into so many depressing topics. And then, you know what? I was kind of missing the depressing topics.
No, I'm glad. I'm glad that the depressing topics weren't here. I thought that this was a lot more fun this time, even though the last one I thought was great. And once again, I have to say thank you all so much, all the three of you guys, for taking the time to do it again. I'm really grateful. And now I feel like you guys are my friends.
Yeah, we could do it one depressing topic.
Now let's end on a high note.
Why don't we end on a high note?
What's the high note going to be?
Rhoda?
Isn't that an Abel Brooks movie?
Oh, Dad, you just haven't had yours yet.
It's true.
Ryan, have fun in Orlando. Are you guys going to do anything? Are you guys playing tonight, the Lumineers?
Tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night. So what are you guys doing tonight? You hitting the Hard Rock Cafe? You going to go to Pleasure Island?
Said that she does a giraffe sanctuary where you can pet giraffes and give them some grass.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Weed? Like, I'm just joking. Sorry.
That's right. That's right.
I know a place where you can get
apparently,
giraffes.
I would have thought that a giraffe, people get pet giraffes, and then they realize that the giraffes are too big for their homes, and they're too obvious, so then they have to get rid of them, and this giraffe sanctuary takes in giraffes that people thought were good ideas and then realized they weren't.
Oh,
and
that's
I
good.
want to know who the fuck thought getting a baby giraffe wouldn't lead to an adult giraffe.
Florida loves exotic animals.
Yeah.
Giraffes is a bad idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's sad.
Well, have fun doing that. I was trying to think of other weird places in Orlando that I wouldn't imagine you guys going to that I could throw out. Chili's?
We might do some or something.
Yeah. All right. Well, everyone, get this record, Notions. It is a great record. We didn't talk very much about it, but people just need to listen to it, and they'll figure it out. Because it is a really great
We
album.
love making it. It's our favorite record we've ever made. Myself is the one that's saying that. It's my favorite record I've ever made.
Yeah.
It's my favorite record I've ever made. Ryan?
It's my favorite record I've made in the last 5 years.
There you go. Well, I like the Blind Pilot stuff too, man. People
Ryan
can,
is our diplomat.
people can find you guys at heavygust.com. Notions is the name of the record. It's incredible record, like classic indie rock is what I would say it reminds me of in a good way. Like not, you know what I mean? Like it has that feel of a classic indie rock album.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
It scratches that itch.
What song did you hear first?
I will tell you because it was the first song on the record. That was the first song I heard, which is Dinner for Breakfast. Yeah.
You know, isn't it weird that we put so much energy into track order when you're like, no one's going to fucking listen to this in order?
No, because it was sent to me with a link to the album.
Oh, yeah. Great. That makes sense. So you might as well start with one. Then we thought if people listen to it, they're going to listen to the hits first. Who cares what the first song is? Not that the first song is or isn't a hit, but I think it's a great song. Right. Easily one of my favorite songs on the record. No. It was the first song we recorded also.
It was?
As this band.
Do We Have to Talk was the first single, right? Or no?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which I also love. But I don't know. Yeah,
I think that's my favorite song on the record. That and hold on, there was one towards the end that I was. Hold on.
Do We Have to Talk is your favorite, you said?
It is my favorite, yeah.
I think it's
that
my favorite. That one.
I can't remember if it's Trees or Try. I would have to hear it to say, but I remember distinctly going back and starting that one over.
Oh.
One of them.
Thanks.
Yeah.
They're both great.
Yeah.
We won't talk about Trees. It probably wasn't Trees because that's the depressing one, and we're ending this on a high note.
Let's just keep this stuff on a high note, man. Just like the head of a giraffe. People can find you guys at heavygust.com. If you live on the East Coast, they will be there starting September 6th at Baby's All Right in Brooklyn, and then doing some stuff in October with the great Shaky Graves. I love that dude. And I love you guys. I'm glad that we got to talk again. Hopefully, I'll get to meet you guys in person. If you ever play in Austin, please hit me up.
We will. Maybe in December. Who knows?
Yeah, this show is coming out on Friday, so I'll tag you on all this stuff, and then you'll hear it.
What's your favorite?
But next time you want to hang out, you don't have to pretend like you just deleted the interview.
Okay.
Just,
Yeah.
I'll reach out.
You can just.
I'll just send you a Zoom link.
Yeah.
What's your favorite? Austin has so many live music venues. What if you were like on the fence about seeing a band, but you knew they were playing somewhere, and it was because of the place? What place would you be like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna go see them because I love that venue?
A few different places for different reasons, but Antone's, Continental Club, 310 Austin City Limits Live, which is like the smaller room to the Moody Theater, which you might know.
Okay, yeah.
I said Continental Club. Seaboys is a great place. The Cactus Cafe is where you can see amazing sets by amazing artists that like intimate sets, like everyone from like Howard Jones to Patty Griffin to Alejandro Escobedo to like Brit from Spoon, stuff like that. Yeah. So those off the top of my head, those are my favorite venues.
And a band our size doing a small couple hundred cap room.
Man, I think 310 or the Continental Club would be the place for you guys.
We're gonna make it freaking happen.
Make it happen.
And if you don't come,
blow the roof off the joint.
I will. No, if you book a show, I will be there.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Great.
But give me enough advance so I can.
Thank you so much.
All right. Yeah. Thank you guys. Great talking to you again. Everyone can find you at heavygus.com. Get notions. Thanks again for doing the show twice.
Of course.
I'll hit
Let's
you
do it
up
again next week.
I'll hit you. I'll talk to you guys next week. Bye.
Put a soft edge. Put a soft edge.
That's Heavy Gus. Check out their album Notions, out now, wherever it is you stream and download your jams. HeavyGus.com is the place where you can find out when they're coming to a town near you, okay? I want to thank Dorota, Stealth, and Ryan once again for doing this show twice, for talking to me again. Maybe we will do it a third time and it'll be super fun. Who knows? I really, really enjoyed talking to them. They're a fucking great band. They're really nice people. And I hope we hear more from Heavy Gus. And I hope they come to Austin to play. And enjoy this song, Do We Have to Talk? That's the one I'm playing that back in the background. And gang, don't forget when you're checking out HeavyGus.com, you can subscribe to this podcast wherever it is that you stream podcasts, be it Apple Podcast, Spotify, TuneIn, Overcast, Stitcher. Yeah, I got to get to a rehearsal. I hope you guys have a great weekend, whatever it is you're doing. Let's get down.
When in motion, how do you stay? I think it's snowing. Or is it ash? Is it too late? Is it too late to drive back? Or do we have to talk? I'd rather be the moonlight on your cheek, on a dark and empty street, or the breeze against your back when you're walking down a dusty sunlit path, water in your back. In search of some